Meet Australia's premier luxury train. A fluted steel-body exterior with a state-of-the-art lounge and dining cars. The new nighttime sleeper train was christened under the name Southern Aurora, operating as the new nighttime Melbourne to Sydney Express. This luxury train was one of 3 express trains operating on the VR Northeast and the New South Wales Main South, including the Intercapital Daylight and Spirit of Progress. What confuses most people about the Southern Aurora and the older Spirit of Progress is that the trains were eventually merged into the Melbourne to Sydney Express due to declining passenger numbers, ceasing operations entirely in August 1986. Today, the Southern Aurora celebrates its 60th anniversary on a traditional journey between Sydney and Melbourne on a St James rail charter, only this time the train will operate throughout the day. For our first shot, we see the train passing through Benalla as it makes its way over the Broken River Bridge. The carriages we see today reside in New South Wales under a mix of Transport Heritage New South Wales and Vintage Rail Journeys rolling stock. As for the locomotives S303 and T357, they originate here in Victoria under Seymour Railway Heritage Centre with P22 on lease. Just outside Seymour, this is where the broad gauge meets the standard gauge, as the train slows down for a quick stop in Seymour. Further into the hills, we reach the Broadford S-curves. Reaching the Melbourne suburbs at Sunshine North, this glorious viaduct stands at a height of 55 metres above the Maribyrnong River. With the recent farewell of the N-Class locomotive haul services on the Albury line, N464 ran the last ever V1 locomotive haul service to Albury. Now it finds itself on its first ever appearance hauling the Southern Aurora under the N-Class name. The Aurora's passengers will now spend 2 nights in Melbourne before making the trip back towards Sydney. In case you're wondering why the VR locomotives are on the back, that would be because the carriage set is now too long to shunt at Southern Cross Station. So long that the siding in Mcintyre Loop was the only accommodation available, the same siding used for freight trains. Here in Melbourne, 707 operations own Victoria's only operational Southern Aurora rolling stock, keeping the sleeper train dream alive on weekender trips with slow rail journeys. This bit of footage was taken on a Melbourne Grammar School charter on the 18th of December 2022. On Tuesday the 26th of April, N464 takes the pleasure again in hauling the New South Wales Southern Aurora to pick up its passengers at Southern Cross. At North Melbourne Flyover, you get a passing glimpse of each of the preserved carriages, including multiple sleeping cars, diners, and lounge cars. track workers pay us a quick visit before the Aurora steals their thunder, charging through the mainline section of Donnybrook Loop. Atop the Great Dividing Range is a windy stretch of track that weaves through the dry surroundings of Kilmore East, one of my personal favourite spots to film on this trip. Whether it was abandoned or in use, the old Mangalore station was never treated as a stopping place for express trains, with today proving no different. Unlike Mangalore, the old site of Locksley and Longwood both show minimal remnants of their former stations. Our final shot is on the outskirts of Eurora, as the croaks of the local frogs are blown away by the trumpeting S303. Today, the equivalent of the Southern Aurora would be the overnight XBT services between Melbourne and Sydney, leaving the luxury trains of the past confined to history. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.